I hope you enjoy my stories. Instead of just clicking thumbs down, please comment and share how we can do better. If you do like our video, then please like and subscribe.
The bar. His left hand made large circular motions on the bar top, polishing it until it gleamed under the dim light. The bar was very quiet with all the staff having already left. Frank savored the solitude, favoring his own thoughts. The months had progressed well. The bar was doing fantastic. "Frank, how are you doing this fine evening?" John asked nonchalantly. Startled, Frank stepped backwards and banged into the freshly washed glasses on the back section of the bar. He looked up and saw John grinning at him. "What the hell? How did you get in here?" "I know I've locked all the doors. I have keys," John said with an even wider grin. "Keys? How can you have keys? I've never given you keys." Settling into his seat at the bar, he made himself comfortable. Straightening his tie and checking the cufflinks, a broad smile appeared on his face. "My dear friend Frank, how I have keys is a story for later. Right now, I have a few other things to discuss with you." "Things of importance, more important than keys," John said softly. "Keys are important. Tell me where you got keys from, or more importantly, who gave you keys." John sighed in an audible way, slowly shaking his head left to right and then right to left. "Frank, you seem upset. That was never my intention. I do have important news, and the keys will be explained as part of the story. Shall I continue?" Frank just looked bewildered. He retrieved his polishing cloth and haphazardly started polishing the section of the bar that John was sitting at. "Okay, entertain me," he said sarcastically. He made slight adjustments to the beautiful dark blue suit and adjusted his tie again. Whether the sarcasm was ignored or John didn't get the sarcasm, he started to speak in his well-tuned voice. "Frank, I have a business proposition for you. I believe this will benefit you greatly. As you know, your bar, once a haven for the occasional drunk, is now a lively night spot. I may have had a marginal influence on that. However, your integrity and how you deal with the clientele, I think, has made the largest impact. Did you know, Frank, that this building was for sale?" he said as he gestured and pointed at the bar. Looking lost by the concept, Frank shrugged and said, "For sale? What, the whole building? I only lease the bar area. I have no idea what the rest is used for. I'd always assumed that it was used for storage of some sort. What does the building being for sale have to do with me?" John gave him a comforting, fatherly smile and continued in a silky voice. "Well, for one, I bought the entire structure early this morning. I couldn't resist the deal being offered. The owners simply wanted out from under the debt load that this place generates." Frank stared, wide-eyed at John in disbelief. A small trickle of sweat appeared on his brow as he furiously polished the surface in front of him. He quickly looked around the bar. Perhaps some of John's friends were playing some kind of a practical joke on him. Nobody else was there. "Does that mean you're going to terminate my lease?" Sitting straighter in his chair, a look of concern came over John's features as he attempted to ease Frank's concerns. "A business proposition rarely starts with a termination. That would be counterproductive, and productive is what I want us to be. Now, Frank, you're probably aware that this is a very, very old building. It was suggested to me that it was built circa 1820. The main reason the owners were anxious to sell is because the city wants the building brought up to code. It seems that there are several structural flaws, wiring issues, and whatnot. Their solution was to destroy the structure and turn it into a parking lot. I could not agree with that. This is my favorite bar. In any event, your lease was due to terminate, probably at renewal, and that was only 30 days from now. But I've been here over 10 years. They never said a damn thing," that dejected-looking Frank said. John chuckled softly. "Well, we will have none of that. In the event that you don't accept my business proposal, all will still be well. I will give you an extended lease and probably lower your payments." John looked Frank straight in the eye and smiled. "Can I bother you for a scotch?" Without a word, Frank went about the task. From the slump in his shoulders, it was easy to guess he was worried. Old habits and customer relations kicked in. A minor task would give him something to do besides worry. He selected one of his finest scotches, normally buried in towards the back of the alcohol bottles. Frank didn't drink often, but retrieved 2 glasses from under the bar and poured 2 rather stiff drinks. He placed one in front of John, and the other remained in his hand. "Frank, there is no need for dejection or worry. I have already assured you that everything will be fine. In fact, I can make it more than exceptional." Taking a small sip from his glass of scotch, John eased back in his chair and broke out with a small laugh. Frank, this place does well. It can do better. The biggest issue is cash flow to make it huge. I can provide the cash flow. The fact is, I am fully prepared to renovate the entire structure. This building has over 8,000 square meters of room available for whatever purposes we can decide on. This is not a willy-nilly decision. I perceive you to be my friend. I hope I'm yours. Random lights above the bar began to flicker with an almost strobe luminescence effect, momentarily catching Frank's attention. Frank took a long pull from his glass, almost completely draining it. The fire went down his throat, and he coughed. It had been a long time since he had drank scotch. His face distorted, displaying his discomfort. His thoughts wandered chaotically. The bar, the only thing he was used to. The sole purpose now in his life. Something to do, some place to be, somewhere to hide. In the last 3 years since his wife died, it provided his only refuge. My bar may be gone, he thought with a feeling of doom. My friend? Yes, I guess I would count you as one of my few friends, Frank said with a slight stutter and uneasiness in his voice. Frank, you have to stop worrying. Your bar will always be here. I will make absolute surety of that. That's what I'm here to discuss. I told you before, I am fully prepared to renovate. More than renovate, this building has a rich history, as far as I can tell. The architecture itself is splendid. I want to cash in on that. I want the entire building renovated to bring back the nostalgia of that era. The vision I have will represent what this structure looked like when it was first built. I want you to be part of that. I want the bar to expand and encompass the entire lower structure. This can be done. However, if you choose to keep your bar exactly the way it is now, I will do nothing to stop you. I will still renovate the rest of the building, bring it up to code, and then leave it empty. It's all up to you. A glimpse of resignation came over Frank's face, and he looked down at the surface of the bar. Up to me? How is it up to me? I don't have the money for that kind of thing. Yes, the bar has done well for the last couple months, but nowhere near the cash that would be needed for that kind of enterprise. I don't see how any of it would be possible for me to be included in. Casually tapping on Frank's arm to get his attention, John continued his speech. Cash is not the object, or the problem. I can supply the necessary cash. I'm willing to fully pay for all the renovations, no matter how extensive repairs are needed. I want you to be a full partner in this. I'm also not looking a huge return on my investment. You will have full control of the entire operation. I would like the partnership to be 60-40. In your favor. My plans for this place are, the sky's the limit. There is a lot of room that can be utilized. A dance floor, dance club, if you prefer. A full-size restaurant serving upscale cuisine. A bar 4 times this size or perhaps larger. A private bar on the second floor. More like gentlemen's club as the term goes. A very large staff to handle everything, accountants and legal team. Whatever is needed. It is all up to you. Frank, I really don't want you to make a decision right now. This is just an idea that I have formulated. I think it's a workable idea. I think that you can make a lot of money in this particular venture. This is not a joke. I am quite serious and will value your input. With the ending of his words, John took in a breath and drank the last of his scotch. Shocked, Frank stared at his almost empty glass, lifted it slightly towards John, his indication that another was being offered. Yes, Frank, another scotch would be lovely. Frank retrieved the bottle and set it on the bar between them. Haphazardly, he poured liquid into both glasses. He wished there was a chair on this side of the bar, so he could sit and think. Okay, John, I don't have to decide now. That's good, because I don't think I'm capable of making a correct decision at this time. I have to at least sleep on it. Is that acceptable to you? Cheerfully accepting his glass, he replied, Why, yes, Frank. That's more than acceptable. I will not push you for an answer. Something else has occurred to me. This is a very old building, much of which has not been utilized in a very long time. What I propose is that you meet me in the morning and we'll go through the rest of the structure, briefly. If you see anything that we can use or make use of, it will be kept. The rest, we will have the rubbish people remove. I think I could be here in the morning. What time did you have in mind? A time of 10 a.m. became mutually acceptable. Both quietly finished the drinks. Frank appeared to be off in another world, lost in a feeling of despair. Frank, I'll see you in the morning, John said nonchalantly as he stood making his way for the exit uncharacteristically. This would be the first time Frank actually would see him leave the bar. Too many shocks for Frank tonight anyways, and he didn't want to add to them, he thought. Sitting in the comfort of his ship, on the strap-in chair, John watched the program on his wall device. That kid doesn't know what he's talking about. The fat lady's great. You can't get this kind of entertainment on Earth. That's for sure. He thought happily. Curiosity got the better of him. He switched his device to the human bandwidth and began channel surfing like a pro. Suddenly, the surfing stopped. He watched intently what was happening on the screen. Illusions. It seems this planet likes to be tricked and deceived by feats appearing to be magic. I know how they do all those tricks. It is all so simple. I will have to give it a try, he said out loud.
I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. To encourage us to make more videos, please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already.